Guys, this is John with JRSP, John Reality Self Protection. So, say that you are doing Medusa and there's multiple people, and you already shock latch and stabbed the first guy because he didn't see it coming. But now, say there's three people, and one of them is lying down on the ground in a bad way because he just got shock latch and stabbed. Now, the other two people understand that that's what's up. Now, there's no element of surprise anymore because that guy is laying on the ground in a very bad way, and the blade is already in the situation. Now, I have said it for years. The only real stopping power that a knife has, like the upfront stopping power, is if it's seen. The Apple River stabbing case shows us everything that we need to understand about a knife. There's not a better situation to demonstrate everything that knife violence is. In the Apple River stabbing case, only one person saw Nikolai Mew with the knife. And what did that person do? He got way, way back. You could hear him in the video saying, he's got a knife! And he got way back. Nobody else saw the knife. And the amount of damage that was done in seconds was catastrophic. I think 5 people were stabbed. They didn't even know they were stabbed. One dude grabbed Nikolai Mew, and Nikolai Mew just gutted the dude. The dude survived. His life was changed. He's going to need therapy for the rest of his life. You could tell. That situation shows us everything we need to know, because a knife doesn't have any upfront stopping power unless it's seen. A gun, on the other hand, you pull a gun and you fire it off in a mall or something, people are running, okay? You pull a knife and nobody knows you have it or whatever, people don't see it, nobody's going to care. And then you stab some people who didn't know that you have the knife. Well, they may just think that you're hitting them. Both of the brothers spoke about how they didn't even know they were stabbed, especially the older one. He didn't even know he was stabbed. He just thought he was getting hit. And I think the younger one said the same thing. Don't quote me on that. So you could be stabbing somebody up, making it where it's like it's non-survivable, wounds that you're giving them. And they may still not know that they're dead, and they may kill you and then succumb to their injuries afterwards. So that's something that you have to know when you have a knife. The only upfront stopping power it has is if it's seen. You may stab somebody and they may eventually bleed out over time, but they may also kill you before they bleed out. In Medusa, you just continue to stab until the threat is neutralized. Now, I've heard other people say you stab until they stop moving. It's like, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to word things that way. How you word things is very, very important to a legal aspect. So I'm never going to say that. It's like, if you have to be here in this situation, you stab until the threat is neutralized, until you can get away from it, until you can extract yourself. My ultimate goal here is not to be a murderer. That's why I carry less lethal alternatives. If we could substitute the knife for something that's less lethal. But if you have to use a knife in that situation, it's because there was no other option, and that better be the case. If you pull a knife or even a gun on somebody, there better be no other option, or you're going to jail. I'm here. I've shocked him. I'm here in latch. I'm stabbing until I'm trying to do as much damage as I can to stop the threat, okay? And because he may not know that he's getting stabbed up, you have to continue to stab until the threat's neutralized. He had 2 friends. Well, now, like Jack Reacher, Tom Cruise's Jack Reacher said, he was only going to have to deal with a certain amount of guys, because once the other guy saw what he's going to do to the initial guy, well, you may have to deal with 1 or 2 of the guys, but the other guys are going to eventually run. Now that you just did what you did to their buddy here, he's on the ground in a very bad way. Now you've lost the element of surprise, and that's what Medusa is big on, the element of surprise. Now what are you going to do here? Hopefully Now that you have the knife and it has seen what you did to their buddy, hopefully they're gonna be more leery to attack. But let's say they do attack. Let's say they attack at the same time. Shocking. Maybe you could grab this guy, stab him up. Since the knife is known, now it has stopping power. Now this guy, you stabbed him. Maybe now you don't have to stab this guy as many times for him to know that he's messed up. So you stabbed him. Now you can contend with his buddy if he's still wanting some as well. But you were going to want to try if they're coming at you in the same moment and your back is against the wall, because if you would never want to fight three guys if you could turn and run away. Okay, but if your back is up against the wall, that's what this type of scenario is about. Okay, they're both coming at you at the same time. You manage to get this guy. His buddy's on the ground, like in a bad way. I don't want to say he's bleeding out, but probably is. You manage to get this guy. His buddy's coming over here. You're wanting to maneuver this guy in the way. He knows he's getting stabbed because he knows the knife's in the game. Okay, now you're going to want to push him down out of the way or whatever, or push him back. He's stabbed up. He's probably, at that point, going to be worrying about those wounds. You never really want to take your eyes off him, though, because maybe not, but now you could come in and go for the next coming threat. You know, it's going to be a bad situation. Hopefully he's down. That's how I would go about it if I was in a situation back against the wall, three attackers at that point. Like, hopefully, in a perfect world, you would stab that first guy, and the other guys would be like, "Oh crap, he's got a knife," and they're gonna back up and want no part of it. Okay, at that point, okay, because their buddy is on the ground and maybe they need to get him and get him to the hospital. Maybe you should say that, hey, now he's in a bad way. He needs to go get emergency medical treatment right now. You guys got other things to focus on. That's your buddy. He's going to die if you don't get him the treatment that he needs right now. Maybe they'll focus on that in a perfect world. But there are no perfect worlds. I love to say that. I coined that here. Okay, there are no perfect worlds. I would never want to have to pull a knife, but 3 against 1 I feel is like bad odds, especially if you're not in the best of shape, training in some type of aggressive hand-to-hand combat system. You're just a civilian living a civilian life, going to work every day and stuff like that. You're not really training, but you always remember that the world is a big place and all of the dangers are very real. And it's always better to be paranoid and alive than complacent and dead. And there's never really going to be a lot of situations, if you play your cards right, that are worth your life and your freedoms. But if you're ever in that situation where your back is against the wall, you got to do what you got to do. Okay. And always remember that if you can, it's always better just to walk away. Hey guys, y'all take it easy.